Let's talk about a really smart decision that just came out of Utah. Now, on the surface, this might seem like it's just about building codes, but trust me, it's actually a huge win for housing affordability and for choice. It's one of those great examples of how a simple, common-sense change can make a massive difference.
So at its core, what Utah did was both simple and, honestly, pretty powerful. By updating its modular building program, the state basically swung the door wide open for more competition and more innovation. And what that does is create a true open marketplace, which, you guessed it, is fantastic news for builders and for anyone looking to buy a home.
Okay, to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to look at the two different approaches for overseeing modular construction. You can almost think of them as two completely different philosophies on how to get the job done safely and, efficiently.
And here's where you see the real difference. On one side, you have ASTM E541. Let's call it the proven veteran. It's an open, consensus-based standard that's been around for over 40 years, so its costs are already baked into the market. And on the other side, you've got the new challenger, ICC/MBI 1205. It operates more like a closed ecosystem, which ends up introducing a bunch of new costs for the industry.
So, let's start with the champion in this story, ASTM E541. This thing has been the quiet, reliable backbone of the modular construction world for a really long time, and for some very good reasons.
I mean, just look at that number. Over 40 years. This isn't some newfangled idea that we're hoping works out. It's a standard that's been refined and battle-tested in the real world for generations. It absolutely delivers on both safety and quality.
And this just shows you how deeply trusted this standard really is. It's not just some industry preference, it's literally written into law in 10 states. And it's the same benchmark used by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. It gives everyone a clear blueprint for safety without creating a ton of extra red tape.
So if you have a proven system that works this well, what happens when a new one comes along, not as another option, but as a mandatory replacement? Well, it all boils down to one thing: hidden costs. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When a regulator forces an entire industry to switch from a system that's already paid for, who actually ends up footing the bill for that change? This is exactly why it matters so much. It isn't just one new expense. It's a whole cascade of costs. Inspection agencies have to get recertified. Manufacturers have to retrain their entire staff. This creates a huge hurdle for smaller companies. And ultimately, every single one of those new costs gets passed right down to the person buying the home. This chart really visualizes the impact perfectly. The big manufacturers, they can probably absorb these new costs. But for the small, independent builders, it can be a massive financial burden. And who feels it at the very end of the line? The home buyer, who ends up seeing higher prices for no real improvement in safety or quality. And all of this brings us back to Utah's incredibly smart and forward-thinking solution. They looked at this whole situation and chose a path that actually celebrates competition instead of trying to restrict it.
This, right here, is the beauty of their solution. See, Utah didn't ban the new standard, they adopted it. But, and this is the crucial part, they also officially recognized the proven existing standard ASTM E541. By giving the industry two valid options, they created a level playing field. It's a true open marketplace where builders can pick the path that works best for them.
And hey, this isn't some radical, untested idea. As this quote shows, Virginia has been doing this successfully for a while now. They brought in the new standards, but made it crystal clear that the good old ASTM E541 is still perfectly acceptable. It's a pro-choice model that just works. So let's connect the dots here. Why should you care about a decision on modular building codes in Utah? Because it's about something so much bigger. It's about preventing unnecessary cost hikes in housing.
This brings us to a really key concept called cost avoidance. Now, Utah's decision didn't magically make houses cheaper overnight, but what it did do was stop a whole wave of new, totally unnecessary costs from being piled onto the price of a home. And in today's market, just preventing prices from climbing even higher is a huge, huge win. So let's just wrap up by running through all the benefits of this choice-based model. It keeps competition alive. It protects small businesses from getting priced out of the market. It avoids pointless transition costs for the entire industry. And it keeps the market open and innovative, all while staying in line with proven federal safety standards. It really is a win for absolutely everyone involved. And that leaves us with one final thought. Utah and Virginia have shown that offering more choice, not less, creates a healthier, more competitive housing market. It's a powerful model for avoiding costs and benefiting consumers. So the only real question now is, who's next?